Okay, what's going on Saturday, June 20th, 2026? Ken Arzon talking baseball. Wrote a book, Yearly Leaders of Every Batting Category. In this book, I have 13 chapters. Chapter 1, the top 5 baseball players in history, leading the league in home runs season by season between 1871 and 2025. That's the format I established in chapter 1. All my other chapters, same pattern. Top 5 baseball players in a certain offensive category between 1871 and 2025, all those decades. And I go season by season listing the top 5 leaders. So chapter 1, home runs. Chapter 2, batting average. Chapter 3, runs scored. Chapter 4, runs batted in. Chapter 5, triples. Chapter 6, doubles. Chapter 7, singles. Chapter 8, total bases. Chapter 9, slugging percentage. Chapter 10, on base percentage. Chapter 11, base on balls. Chapter 12, stolen bases. All my videos on YouTube channel, I covered all the decades between 1871 and 2025, top 5 in all these offensive categories. My last chapter, Chapter 13, hits. Who were the top 5 baseball players year by year making the list, leading the league in hits? I have the answers. So let's start with the 1870s. 1871. Cal McVeigh had 66 hits, led the league. Now, they only played 50, 60 games, some of the teams. So they were just getting started. National League. No American League yet. Levi Merrill, 64. Ross Barnes, 63. Joe Start, 58. Steve King, 57. So some of these guys, you haven't heard of their names because they're not in the Hall of Fame. But they're the old school pioneers. 1872, top 5 hits. Ross Barnes goes for 99. Dave Egler, 97. Davey Force, 94. John Hatfield, 93. And then Camp Hansen, Hall of Famer, 90. 1873. Listen to this. Ross Barnes, 138. First guy to break triple digits. George Wright, 125. Deacon White, 122. Al Spalding, 106. Camp Hansen, 101. 1874. Cal McVeigh, 123. Al Spalding, 119. Andy Leonard, 106. Deacon White, Hall of Famer, 106. Jim O'Rourke, Hall of Famer, 104. 1875, top 5. Ross Barnes, 143. Cal McVeigh, 138. Cal McVeigh. Third time for him. Deacon White, 136. George Wright, 136. Andy Leonard, 127. 1876, Ross Barnes. 1, 2, 3, 4. His 5th. Let me count it again. Ross Barnes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. His 6th top 5 finish in hits. 1876, 138. John Peters, 111. Camp Hansen, 110. Cal McVeigh again, 107. Deacon White again, 104. These are the hitters during this decade. 1877, Deacon White, 103. Cal McVeigh, 98. Jim O'Rourke, 96. John Cassidy, 95. Joe Start, 90. (1878) Joe Start, 100. Abner Darrell Mimple, 96. Paul Hines, 92. Bob Ferguson, 91. Order Shafter, 90. And then 1879, let's finish the decade. Paul Hines, 146. That's the high so far. They're starting to play more games. 60, 70, start to get to 80. And then by 1900, they're passing 100 games a season. Paul Hines, 146. Abner Dalrymple, 126. King Kelly, 120. Charlie Jones, 112. Deacon White, 110. So the 1870s, who stood out? Ross Barnes, 6 times top 5. Ross Barnes, 6 times he made the top 5. Cal McVeigh, 5 times in the decade. So those 2 guys stood out. You had Deacon White, 4 times. He's Hall of Fame, Deacon White. Al Spalding, a couple. Camp Hansen, a couple. So you got to give the 1870s to Ross Barnes. Have you heard of this guy? Let me pull him up. Ross Barnes. He had a short career. He was one of the pioneers in the 1870s. He only played 9 years, but listen to this. His career batting average, 360. He batted over 400 3 times. Now, granted, he only played 499 games, and he had 2,500 plate appearances. So it's not enough for that 360 average. But he's one of the early guys. He started at age 21, just a couple years, stopped playing at age 31. So a 9-year career. Ross Barnes. What if he had played 20 years? And what if he was playing a 154 game season? I wonder what his career batting average would have been. 499 games. He batted 360. It's not enough measure. And he's not in the Baseball Hall of Fame. It's not enough games. Not enough at bats. But in the 1870s, he stood out. All right, my next video, I'll look at the 1880s. I'm going to go decade by decade hits. Which players made the top 5 and who did it multiple times? That's what I'm curious about. Okay? Talk to you later. I'm out.